It is Jake Baller here, and today, as you can see, I'm back with another video. And in tonight's video, as you can see, back with the room camera angle. I just wanted to change it up a little bit for you guys. Tonight's topic is again kind of an easy one because tomorrow is Sunday, which usually means there's going to be an IRL ASMR in public video, and yes, tomorrow is in fact a very highly anticipated one where I go to my first ever soccer game, football match, whatever you want to call it. And yes, I recorded it for you guys, and what a crazy experience it was. So make sure you guys are back here at the same time tomorrow. But tonight's video, we're in fact talking about something kind of similar. We're talking about at least my own and even the world's best sports arenas. By me, I mean like the ones I've been to. So I'm going to be talking about just some of the best sporting events and arenas, centers, stadiums, whatever you want to call them, that I've ever been to. Maybe ranking them, maybe just talking about them, and then also going over ones that I want to see from around the world. So make sure you like this video. If you do like the video, liking the video is the best thing you can do for me, this channel, this video, the YouTube's algorithm. It would really help me out a lot, and I'd really appreciate it if you did. Also would appreciate it if you commented what do you think is the best arena in the entire world for sports, your favorite experience at one, what sport is the best to go see live, anything revolving around that. I would love to know your opinion down in the comments. So I've been to a handful of arenas, only in the US sadly, but that's really cool. If you're somewhere from around the world, you can let me know some cool places where you're from, whatever country it is, whatever sport it is. I would just love to know some more popular places around the world to go see sports. I think that'd be kind of cool. Maybe, who knows, one of these days, however big this channel gets, how much support you guys give, I would love to do some, overseas travel and maybe go to a football match somewhere overseas. I think that would be insane. But anyways, I'd love to know that, because the ones I've been to have been kind of low-key and kind of basic in my opinion. So I guess the first one I kind of want to go over is, and I don't want to rate these in, the best to worst. I mean, I guess I kind of am, but the first one I'm actually going to be talking about is one of the oldest Major League Baseball stadiums that are still sort of original, and it's the Angel Stadium. Yes, Angel Stadium. I've been to it many times. I actually have this very dusty, kind of old flag from when they won the World Series back in 2002, which I guess that is old. I bet some of you were even born in 2002 probably, so that's interesting. Anyways, that was the one and only time they won the World Series, and the stadium is definitely not that great for, you would think, a team that's fairly popular, has two of the best players in the MLB right now, and it's, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. You think they would have something sort of more figured out for that team, but a lot like how the team, looks good on paper but sucks in reality. It's the same thing about the stadium. It's just not that good, pretty old. What I can remember, the stadium food also kind of sucks. It's basically just like a big concrete structure with a couple of random tunnels to go see the ballpark, and the seats are kind of uncomfortable, but the field itself, I think, it's my favorite part. Obviously, you get like the very famous like rocky background, which is kind of a cool thing. The fireworks they have at the stadium are kind of fun. Some nights, if you're there and it's dark enough, you can actually see the Disneyland fireworks going off as well from where you're seated. You can definitely hear them, but sometimes you can see them, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it's just the most basic ballpark you can think of would be Angel Stadium. Then next up we have T-Mobile Park, which is also a Major League Baseball stadium up in Seattle, Washington, and I do think it's maybe a little bit nicer than Angel Stadium. They're actually kind of the same, but I think the T-Mobile Park got a little bit of a refurbish sometime recently. Obviously, they did change their name from Safeco Field to T-Mobile Park. Not sure if they actually did any like major upgrades to the stadium, but again, it's just kind of a basic baseball stadium. I've actually made a video on it before, and you can see it's just a normal baseball park. I think it just is a little bit nicer and newer than Angel Stadium though, but I enjoy both, and man, I do love going to see baseball games. It's like one of my favorite things to do, actually. I think it's probably my favorite sporting event to see live, actually, is baseball. So that says a lot, because the game is actually kind of boring. And one sort of my local one that I've been to many times is in fact the Moda Center, which let's see if I can do this without dropping anything. It is obviously one that you guys have seen on my channel quite often. It's also kind of like the other arenas we talked about already that are very, very boring, very bland, just a typical, normal arena. I think that the Moda Center was built back, I would say, really late 90s or the very early 2000s, and I don't think it's ever gotten a refurbishment or any type of upgrading, anything like that. It's very much a very basic concrete structure with some holes and tunnels to watch and walk through the game with, and it's just, it's boring. The court is nice, but that's something that's kind of like with the fields of baseball. They can change that every once in a while, and the court is pretty nice, and of course I do enjoy the Blazers, so that's also probably a helpful part of it, but as just an arena itself, it's pretty boring, very basic and plain, but I don't know, it does have very good food in my opinion. I think the food is maybe the best part, especially if you love pizza, or they definitely have some other pretty good smaller spots inside the Moda Center that are pretty good. The Moda Center and all those ones that we've already just mentioned are all kind of similar, very sort of basic and plain, but now we're gonna bump it up a little bit to some that are just maybe a little bit more interesting, or at least in my eyes they are. And in fact, the next one I kind of want to talk about, which, I mean, I've never been to any other ones ever, so it's my first experience at one, and that's actually Providence Park. And if you don't know the name of Providence Park and what that even is, it's the soccer stadium, the football arena stadium, whatever you want to call it, also for the Portland Timbers. And in fact, that's what you guys are going to see tomorrow, so I'm not going to be posting any pictures or anything like that, just in case you haven't seen it before. But it was nice. There was a lot of food selection. The way to get around was a little bit annoying. It's basically just one very long single tunnel, basically, that wraps around the entire stadium that everyone has to squeeze through, which again gets kind of busy and annoying. Another thing that kind of sucked is that the music was just blaring over you the entire time when you're walking around. You can barely speak without having to shout, which was also a little bit annoying. But as for just an arena and its atmosphere, again, you guys are going to see on Sunday what I mean by that. It was different. Of course, I'm sure were places that soccer or football are a little bit more popular, which I think for Portland as a city, I think it's pretty popular for what it is. Obviously, it's way more than that. It's that times 100 probably. So again, drop some places down in the comments, and maybe one of these days I'll head my way out there. But okay, next spot we have is sort of one that, if you take the nostalgia factor out of it, it's actually kind of also pretty boring, maybe. I got my LeBron jersey here. Get it? Because he's the Mickey. Get it? It's a Mickey Mouse Laker jersey. Anyway, basketball, also being kind of a Laker fan as well. Just the vibe and the atmosphere of going to, downtown LA to see a basketball game of the purple and gold team, like seeing the banners in the rafters. I think that's what they're called, right? Seeing the banners up there, and man, I don't even really remember walking around the arena that much. I can't really give a full in-depth sort of a review on it, but hey, maybe we can sometime very, very, very soon. But if not, I still remember it being kind of boring and plain as an arena, but the atmosphere and just obviously the location, it being in LA, and everything else about the arena is what really elevated it to be a really fun and cool time. And I don't know, obviously they could really probably use a nice little refurbishment, since I don't think that place has been refurbished in many, many, many years. It's kind of actually pretty old, but it's still Staples Center to me. And what nostalgia and what glory that place holds in sports history, especially in the NBA. And another one that I think I just can't really remember it all that much very well, but that is in fact a the throw football stadium in CenturyLink Field. Yes, for the NFL team, the Seattle Seahawks. I've been to one game, and again, that is my local team, even though it's hours and hours away from me. I just remember it being extremely loud. Very, 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 very loud. Not only was the watching experience very loud, very, 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 very loud, very, very, very loud, but everything was loud. Walking around the stadium was loud. Trying to even get to the stadium was loud. The outside of the arena was loud. It was loud everywhere. Everyone was very excited. Now, this was back in 2013, 14, 12. Pretty much the prime, almost the prime maybe of the Seattle Seahawks. I only went because my uncle's boss gave him free tickets, and he decided to take us, which was really cool. And I think I have a picture of it where, we're standing a throw from the grass. You could literally see the edge of where the crowd and the drop off and where the grass is. You could see that. The seats were insane. Now, they were playing the Raiders at that time that were really, really, really bad, even more bad than what they are now. But man, it was a really fun experience. But I don't really remember it because it was so long ago. And also, it was raining the entire time. Everyone was soaking wet and in a bad mood. I think they did end up winning that game though, but you're basically just standing there and cheering for 2 hours. And I like to be able to sit and relax and cheer, have fun, but still do my own thing. Nah, when you're there, you're standing the entire time. Now, a stadium that actually sort of surprised me a lot actually is in fact a team that's in the NBA playoffs right now. The Sacramento Kings and the Golden One Center. Yes, I've been to a Kings game before. Oh my god, that was, I think, in 2018 or 19. It was right, I think, after they traded DeMarcus Cousins away, and they were really bad. I think they went and played the Cleveland Cavaliers, the game that I went to. The tickets were, I think, $10, and me and my dad were just hey, let's drive, 6-8 hours to Sacramento and go check this place out. And we did it. It was a lot of fun. It was a great trip with my dad. We actually also drove to San Francisco, which now, again, next basketball season, you guys could be seeing a Golden One Center Kings video and a Golden State Warrior San Francisco Chase Center Arena IRL ASMR in public video sometime in the relative future. Like, again, like, you guys have no idea, like, how excited and passionate and, like, I really just love doing the IRL stuff for you guys. And who knows, maybe I'll go just do, obviously, other sporting events, but even just, like, cool hiking places, amusement parks, different stores, different whatevers. I really want to try to do a ASMR mukbang in public, like at a nice fancy-ish restaurant sometime soon. Like, I just have so many plans of stuff I want to do with this stuff, and that was bad English. But I'm so excited. But anyways, Golden Center was great. The Kings lost, I think, that night, but the arena is very open feeling, even though I think it only has, it's very, like, elevated, like the way the seats are. They're very stacked on top of each other, which is why I think the home court advantage for the Kings is really real, because that arena is very compact and tight, and I think it's really cool that they do that. The arena itself, I think, is kind of small, but obviously with the Kings not being that great, it makes sense. But it's also like a newer-ish arena, definitely a place that I really want to go to again. So next season, I might pinky promise that I'll go to a Kings game, and I'll also go to a Golden State Warrior game, maybe during the same time, the same trip. So I cannot wait for next season already. I have my Caesars Sportsbook little thing. It actually just has, like, my room number and what, like, tower I was in. But yeah, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, and wow. Now the arena itself is nice. It's newer-ish. I actually don't really remember exactly when it was built. Obviously, I'm putting it up on the screen while I'm talking to you guys about it, but holy cow, like, the vibe was so refreshing. Like, the arenas that I'm used to going to definitely cater to, like, a certain audience, an older audience. So the music they play, the atmosphere, even the crowds and stuff like that, it's very not me. But man, T-Mobile Arena was very, I don't want to sound corny and say it was very hip, but it was definitely a cool experience. It was definitely a different vibe, different atmosphere. I loved it there. I loved the arena and the sort of, like, the sounds of it and the visuals that they have on the scoreboard and the ice hockey actual, like, effects that they use on it, which is super sick. They keep the crowd very engaged and involved, and the food there looked good. They have a Shake Shack and whatnot. Obviously, I'm not going to eat there because it was all like $25 for everything, which was kind of annoying, but man, it's a cool touch. And of course, it's located literally 20 feet from the Las Vegas Strip, and it was such a fun time. And man, they really know how to do it great in Vegas. Obviously, it's Las Vegas, so it makes sense. But I do think I have, like, my top favorite places I've been to go see a sporting event, and one of them is 1000% Petco Park, Petco Field, or wherever the San Diego Padres play at. I think it's Petco Park. Yeah, that stadium is literally just, it's me. If I could build a fantasy baseball stadium, it would look something very similar to that. It's very cool and well themed. The way it's built is not like, again, like Safeco or Angel Stadium, where it's just a big concrete structure and some tunnels. It's like its own arena. It feels like it. It feels like it's like a good environment. The food and stuff that they had there was all, like, really unique and good. Obviously, a lot of, Mexican inspired foods, but they also had a very good sort of different choices that you could have. Of course, they have, like, the traditional baseball foods there, but man, the drinks were also very good that we had there as well. In the stadium itself, like, the field is amazing. I love, like, the sort of what would you call it? Like the it's almost like a park that they have inside the stadium, where it's like a lawn that they can go and sit at and have like a picnic while watching the baseball game. It's super sick. I think they also hold concerts there and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. And yeah, I mean, you're inside downtown San Diego, one of my favorite cities that I've ever been to, maybe my favorite city, and man, nothing really beats having a baseball game right next to the ocean. It's pretty insane. That's definitely like one of my highest recommendations if you love baseball or just any type of sports to go to that park. It's amazing. It's really great, but I still do not think that nothing may ever beat SoFi Stadium. Yes, SoFi Stadium. You guys have seen it before in a video. That stadium is just perfection. It's just perfection. It's amazing. It's like futuristic but classy, very aesthetically pleasing. It also has like a lot of different areas to explore, but it's still not confusing to get around. There's a lot of different places to shop, get food. I mean, you can hang out almost anywhere in that arena and still be able to watch the game. I mean, you can almost spend like an hour or two just walking around the stadium, seeing all the stuff that they have, and man, I would love to go back there. Maybe I will again, because I think I can definitely do a better job at that video. I feel like, especially the way I recorded it with an Apple microphone, and I definitely need to remake that video and voice over it a little bit better with like a nicer microphone, in my opinion. But anyways, I really want to go back so bad. Definitely maybe see like the Rams play, or even seeing the Chargers play again, who definitely, I don't want to say stole my heart as sort of like a fan, because they lost pretty bad that game, but it was still so much fun to watch them play in that stadium. It's like $5 billion, $6, $7 billion, $8 billion or something like that. It's like a couple $1 billion worth a stadium, and that place it's one of a kind, 100%, and it's definitely probably the best arena experience I've ever been to all around. Now, the best like crowd experience I've ever been to has to go to Providence Park, and you're gonna see why. The soccer game I went to, you're gonna see why. Or maybe you're seeing this in the future. Go and see that video right now if you want to see some die-hard fans, a great fan experience and atmosphere. Football, soccer fans definitely know how to get it done, so definitely going to be going to more of those soon. So many great arenas out there, so that's why I would love for you to comment down below some that you recommend that maybe one of these days we'll see on the channel.